What up, fellas? You know who it is. Question of the day is, do men ever move on? Yes and no. This is a very important question. One of my viewers asked me. This guy's been asking me some really great questions, and I'm really grateful for him. What do I mean by yes or no? Yes, men move on if men have an incentive. What do I mean by that? Fellas, back in 2018, I got my heart broken for the first time. This was the girl I truly loved. This was my first love. This was not my first long relationship. I did date another girl long term before her, but I was younger. I was more immature. I didn't really know what I was doing at that time. So this one was really a real one to me, and this really hit home to me. And it really hurt. It really sucked. And I will talk to you guys about that relationship when my channel gets a little bit bigger. Why? Because I want more and more men to hear about my story. Because I know a lot of you guys can relate to that. And fellas, after that breakup, it felt like time stood still for me. It happened right at the beginning of the summer. And that whole summer, those 3 months long period time, felt like the time was frozen. The days were dragging. I just wanted time to move on quicker than it was going. At least it felt like it, right? It felt very slow. And the reason how I knew that I really loved her, that it was true love, real love, is because I wanted to kill her after she broke up with me and she was with the guy that she cheated on me with, right? I wanted to kill her. I'm glad I didn't. I want to kill her and him. But I'm glad I didn't, because if I did do that, I would not be here today in front of you guys. But anyways, so from that breakup, I learned a very important lesson. I learned a lot of things, and that breakup actually brought me to the red pill. But one of the more important lessons that I learned from that breakup was, when you have a goal or when you have something to chase after in life, hard times don't last as long as they would if you don't have much to look forward to. And that's where this yes and no answer come from. Yes, men do move on if they have an incentive. No, they never do if they don't. After breaking up with her, the first 3 months, after those 3 months passed by, I moved from where I was living at that time to another town, around 3 hours away, to go to college. I found better chicks, better looking chicks. I started making more money. My living situation improved. My job situation improved. My whole life situation improved. My body, my health, everything improved. That was the first time I got a six-pack. Chiseled six-pack. I grew more muscle. I kind of used that heartbreak as a motivation to do better. And ultimately, I moved on from her. I honestly did. Now, I know for a fact that I wouldn't have moved on from her if all of these things weren't happening for me. If I didn't have something to look forward to. If none of these things actually took place, none of these good things took place in my life afterwards, I would have why? Why wouldn't I have moved on if none of these things happened? Because, fellas, when you're in a situation and the situation doesn't go your way how you want it to, you start making different scenarios in the back of your head. You start telling yourself, man, what if I did this? What if I did that? Maybe if I did this wrong or did that right, then things would have turned out a little bit more different. You don't know that. The only thing you do know is the reality that already took place. And when you keep doing that, when you keep going back and forth with yourself in the back of your mind about playing different scenarios in the back of your mind, all you are doing is capturing yourself in that moment, in that time. You're living in that moment still. You're not moving on from it. When she already moved on and she's taking all sorts of digs as you and I speak right now. Yeah, it sounds harsh, especially if you just come out of a breakup. It sounds really harsh. But man, she's taking all sorts of tips. All sorts of dudes are sweating their balls off on top of her. Dude's sweat is dripping on her face, on her titties. That's what's happening right now as you and I speak, fellas. Yeah, it's harsh, but this is the truth you guys need to hear. She doesn't care about you at all. She's trying to... it's not even the fact that she's trying to get you out of her head. That's why she's doing all this. It's the fact that she already moved on. Women move on before the breakup even happens. We already know this. Why? Because at the earlier stage of the relationship, women try to cuff the man down, especially if it's a high-value man. So the man doesn't invest as much. But as the relationship progresses, it switches. The man starts to become more and more feminine because he starts to catch more and more feelings for her. And the woman starts to get more and more repelled by that. So she starts pulling out her investments, and he starts putting his investments more and more into that. So by the time when the breakup is about to happen, he's so much more invested than her that when she finally pulls the plug, now he's at loss. He lost everything. While she pulled her investments out of there a long time ago, so she doesn't have a whole lot of things to lose. Matter of fact, she doesn't have anything to lose because, as we know, women have way more options than we do. So she already has another dude lined up to go to right after you. So she didn't really lose any investments. Women don't invest in relationships that much anyways to begin with. We already know this. Modern women don't know how to cook. Modern women don't know how to support their man. Don't know how to make their man grow. Don't know how to do shit. They don't even they even expect the man to pay for all the dates all the goddamn time. And if she's paying the date, if she's paying for the date, it's gonna be some cheap date. She's gonna suggest, oh, let's go here instead of the expensive place we always go to where you pay. Anyway, that's another topic. So this is why it's harder for us men to move on, because not only that we don't have an incentive afterwards to move on. We don't know if we're going to find anything better in life, do anything better in life. We don't know that yet. Why do we not know that? Because fellas, unlike women, men are made. Women are born. Women already know for a fact that they have better options than us. We don't know that yet. Why? Because in this world, we were not given the tools needed to succeed. I take that back, sorry. In this world, we are given the tools needed to succeed, but we're not given the instructions, the guidance, the guidelines. We have to find those ourselves, and that's the hardest part. That's the most difficult challenge, and that's why channel like mine and other Red Pill content creators channels exist. So that's why she moves on so much quicker. So not only that we are lost afterwards, we don't know if we're gonna do anything better than her. If we don't know if we're gonna make it better than what we did before her. That's why we always want to stay in that past in our head. That's why we always play these different scenarios. Man, I wish I did this. I wish I did this the other way, or did this different. Not only that's happening, but also we have invested way much more at that point, the point of the breakup. So that's why it's twice as hard for us to move on, and that's why most men don't move on. Because most men are not your 10%ers, 20%ers. And this is what I have found from my experience. I'm not telling you guys to actually become a top 10% or 20%, even though you should strive for. I'm not saying that every single man has to become the top 10 or 20%er to be happy in life. What I'm saying is, or to move on from a girl. Because some men actually find happiness in other sources. Those are few and far between men who are not 10 and 20%ers, but also don't live in the scarcity mindset about losing a woman. Why? Because they have something else. Maybe he likes riding motorcycles. Maybe he's a surfer. Surfing gives him happiness, not women. So that's why he involves himself with that kind of activities. Maybe riding motorcycle gives him happiness, so he involves it with himself with that kind of activities. Maybe he finds a way to make a living out of those things, and that becomes his purpose now in life. Well, the activity that he's doing. Some men do find that, and I'm not saying that only being rich and successful is going to get you happiness. Only being rich and successful and famous is going to make you content in life. What I'm saying though is that from my personal experience, if you have a vision, or if you have an idea to become, or to at least get towards that 10 or 20% group, 10 or 20% scale, 10 or 20% level, if you have at least an idea or the mindset that, you know what, I'm gonna be rich and I know I need to do X, Y, and Z. Most guys don't even know how to get rich. If you at least have a plan, a vague plan, a very vague plan, a very not so structured plan, you'll move on pretty quick. Because every time her thought, your ex-girlfriend's thought, or the chick who rejected you, if that thought comes in your head, you're going to continuously remind yourself, I have much bigger and better things ahead of me in life than worrying about this hoe. That's why you'll move on. But the sad reality is most men don't have that. Most men just have a regular job, 9 to 5. See, your purpose doesn't necessarily need to be you making millions and millions of dollars. Whatever it is that you have that makes you happy, whatever activity it is that gives you happiness, that makes you feel good about yourself, that makes you content. And that's the hardest challenge as men, because we have this strong biological drive to procreate. And that's why we mix all of our aspects in life with women. That's why we think getting the right woman is our life's purpose. It's not. Maybe leaving a legacy behind is a better purpose than finding a right woman. And how do you leave your legacy behind? Most guys think that having kids. How do you have kids? You have it with a woman. That's where this women's perspective is coming from. But that's not the only way you can leave a legacy behind, fellas. These videos that I'm making right now, I'm pretty sure that it's changing some of you guys' lives. I'm sure some of you guys are taking some of you guys are actually paying attention to what I'm saying. I'm sure you have. And I know that you guys will always want to pass this knowledge to somebody else, because once you finally accept the red pill, you want to grow and you want other people to grow. That's just the beauty of red pill. So fellas, this is my opinion on this. This is my take on this. Is if you have something to look forward to after a breakup, yes, you will move on. And yes, men do move on. If you don't, however, man, this is why guys end up killing themselves, taking themselves out, because they can't handle the pain. And I know the pain, fellas. I cried every single day for 3 months straight period after that breakup. That was in my blue pill days, and right after that I found the red pill. Every single day. My mother knows, my mother saw me. She's the only person who saw me cry like this. No, that's not true. A couple of my friends saw me too. So I know your pain. I've been through that. I've experienced it myself firsthand. And that's why we always say that men win at the end. If you can understand all these things I talk about, all these other red pill content creators talk about. If you stop chasing ass and actually focus on something that's going to gift you more ass as a byproduct when that something takes off. Women, sure, they have the upper hand up front. They have everything up front given to them. They're in their prime, their physical prime, which is also their prime for everything else. Their physical prime is the prime for everything else for women, because men are mostly attracted to women's looks. And it takes time for men to make money. That's why we get into our prime later in life. And our looks is not the only thing women look for. So women are given everything up front because she didn't have to do anything for her looks except her brain. Her brain is not developed till she's 25. You can look it up. Our brain isn't developed either till we're 25. But we don't experience our prime after our brain is developed, because we usually experience our prime when we're in our 30s and our brain have already developed. And women's brain has not developed, and they already got their prime before it was developed, because their prime lasts for anywhere from age 16 to 25, or to 24, 25, 26, around that age range. So they're immature and they have all this advantage. It's like giving a 12-year-old kid $20 million paycheck. He doesn't know what to do with it. He has all this attention, all this resources. He doesn't know what to do with it. He fucks it all up. Women fuck it all up. They become cock hoppers. They jump from one cock to the next cock to the next cock. They want to live freely and happily, right? Let them do all that. I want you to know that I'm here for you, for your growth. Let's all grow together. Subscribe to the channel, share this video to your friends. That's how more and more men can learn from these. Follow me on Instagram, fellas, at Zeekpeak. Hope this video made sense. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video to your friends. Until next time, stay blessed, stay beautiful, and above all, stay classy.